Nick, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio. You talk about form versus freshness, and you've got 2 wins back-to-back with the same lineup, but then you're playing against a team that is probably going to give a different approach. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a different game. I think when you play against DC, you know there's going to be a transitional nature to the game. It's physical. What we've seen from DC previous was how much they dominate the game with a physicality. So that definitely was in my thinking when I picked the team. This is a different game, so potentially we will go with a different. I think we've got to focus on what we're strong at and why we've put up a good performance. But at the same time, I think there is opportunity to change the team on this one based off the style of the game and the profile of players that we have. So, we're starting to piece together what we feel will be critical in the game, and then we'll pick the guys that we feel will really suit that. But, we're getting to the point now where I think some of the players, we're training so well that there's guys in there that are really chomping at the bit to get a game. So that is definitely in my thinking.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Scott Schertz and Street Punk Sports. Talk a little bit, if you don't mind. The team right now is second in the league in blocked passes with 94. What do you attribute that to? Any thoughts in that arena? Thanks.
I think it's just work, right? We looked at our team last year, and we used. I'm really lucky that I have a really big data insights department, a really exceptional performance analysis department, and the review that we put on the team last year was in depth. It was 2-3 days in our city office. It was looking at what are the positives and negatives of last year's performances and what is going to give us the best opportunity to finish above the line and finish in the top 4 and potentially finish in number 1. That is where everyone wants to finish, right? And then you go through the pre-season and the work, and we translate the data and the performance review into the players and give them the opportunity to train hard and to, I think James Sands, Keaton Parks, we have Andres Pereira that we've seen improved our team, the pressing nature of our team, the counter-pressing improvement in our team, all of this, all the different. The one thing I think is really important is we create goal chances from every phase of the game. That is, if you look at our team against DC and our team against New England, it's looking more like the vision I have for our football team, and we're in that process and that, the progress of that. And I understand we all want it to come quickly, and it's starting to come together, right? And those data metrics help us. Those things that we look at, and we look, the expected goals at home, all of this stuff is going to really help us. So I'm proud of it, but ultimately, I'm judged on the score, right? I'm judged on the amount of points on the board. So we translate it into performance, and we make sure we keep pushing the team hard.
Coach Mohammed with the Exchange. So Charlotte has been a different team this year. They've been scoring from different players, 8 different players or 9 different players. How do you prepare for something like that? Not the goals coming from one person that you would stop. If you could talk about how you prepare for that.
Yeah, I think we've worked really hard over the last 4 or 5 weeks at our defensive organisation and how we make sure that we retain the sort of, we were difficult to play against. We didn't give so much up last year, but we just didn't score enough. But if we're going to try and create goal chances, what we don't want to do is create more chances, score more goals, but let more in on the other end. We have to retain what we were good at last year. And I think, whether it is somebody like Agustín that is really, really strong at a certain part of the game and is really, prominent in that area, or a team like Charlotte that share the goals out across a really, a deadly forward line, Vargas, Copetti, they have strength, right? They've added a new DP, they can score from Westwood, they have Arfield, they have good players all over the field. And for us, it's about understanding how we deal with situation, whether it be crossing moments, whether it be direct balls, whether it be a team like Atlanta that want to show a lot of combinations and use Almada. And, we've got to have the ability to defend the game in whatever situation is put our way. Now, when we watch and we scout the opposition, we can start to lead the team into the trends of what we expect and the threats of what we think are coming. So I think the analysis department are doing an incredible job. I think our coaches outside, are doing a great job in preparing the team. But we're at the mercy of the leadership of the team in executing those moments. And whether it be across 4, 5, 6 different players or whether it's one guy, if we're going to be a team that consistently wins, we have to deal with the threat that's coming. So, is a different type of threat, but I think our team has the ability to, cope in those moments, but they have to execute on game day.
Roberto?
Maybe it's redundant, I hope not, but they say styles make fights, and Charlotte is pretty much a new team in this league, and yet, they've given you fits, winning 4 out of 5 and only 1 tie. Why has it been so difficult for New York City to be able to find a way to get a win against them?
You know what, you stole my line. We were in the city office yesterday as a group, just looking at the first 9 games, and my whole thing is styles make fights. And I think that is something that I will continue to press the staff and the front office and the coaching staff and the support staff on, because I agree, Charlotte has been this team that we've never really managed to get a result from, whereas, I've never lost in Atlanta, or I've never lost in Montreal away, and, when you look at our away form versus our home form, I think you can look across this. I don't know if there's one specific thing that says why this is this and why that is that, but ultimately, if we want to be a team that continues to be in form and push up the league, we have to win against every team that comes to our home field. And we have to make sure that we prepare the team to win. Now, it's difficult, whoever you face, whether it's Charlotte this week or Colorado next, we have to make sure the team is prepared. And, those little things offer the team, motivation, right? This is one team that we lost at Red Bull Arena in 2022. We drew last year at Citi Field in a game that we 100% should win. This is an opportunity this week to put that right, and then the next time we come in, you'll be saying that I haven't won against this opposition or that opposition. But we just got to focus on the game, right, and make sure that we continue this good form and we continue putting points on the board.
Onto the Zoom, Javier.
Hey, Nate, Javier from City Boys. The last time you guys went on a 3-game winning streak was back in 2022. And after that Red Bull game, you grabbed a beer with the fans. Any plans on grabbing a beer after, if you win this game?
I definitely think that the 3-game run is something that we have a huge desire to do. It's something that I said after the game in the locker room. It's been a long time since we've gone back to back. Too long, really, since we went back to back. So it's good to enjoy that after the game. And now we have the opportunity to do a 3-game, run. So we have to make sure we do that before we think about anything. I know the journey that we've been on with myself and the fans, and I'll continue to work hard to make sure that I put this team in a place that is the place that we feel and we expect. Me going for a beer with I don't think that's my decision, unfortunately, at the moment.
Oliver?
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. The team have gone undefeated since Miami when you wore Stone Island. And since then, on the sideline, every game you have presented a much more tailored look than you have in the past. I'm wondering if you could comment on that to see if there's a correlation between the team's success and your fashion choices, and also why the change? Why the shift in your sideline wear?
I actually got a lot of comments about the Stone Island jacket, staff and players, and now the problem you have when you wear something that gets a lot of comments is if you wear it again, people start to think you only own one piece in your wardrobe. So I didn't want to, I wanted to show the variability, the variety that I have in my wardrobe. But and I actually wore a shirt underneath the New England game. I wore a white shirt, which is new for me. It was a little bit more smarter, but it was cold, so I had to wear the jacket. And then I'm not actually an overly superstitious guy, but I went with exactly the same clothes for DC. So now I'm in that sort of period now is where do I go again? If you repeat 3 times and you lose, but then if you wear the same thing 3 times over, people think you only have 2 jackets now. So there's going to be a fight all the time with myself of what I wear. But, I appreciate the comments on the tailored look, because not many people have told me that before.
Back in the room, Alex.
Alex here with the Exchange. Can you talk about Santi's recent performances?
Yeah, Santi's been excellent. I said after the DC game that it was a masterclass from him in the sense of not only his effort and his energy and his desire to work for the team with and without the ball, but just his decisions, his creativity, he obviously got the goal and he gets the assist, but just being that guy that can almost dictate the play for us. He has a real ability to play at high intensity. And when you get these impact guys, the important guys that play at the top of their game or close to the top of their game, because I actually think he still has more. Everybody else follows. Maxi Morales has been that guy for so many years for us and will be that guy again, right? But Santi is really, he's leading the team in his performances and his offensive impact. And I think, for us, it's about just really continuing to push him forward, but continuing to push. I think that I spoke to the team this week. I think that the key thing for us, for Santi Rodriguez, is where we're getting him the ball. These guys want to come deeper and they want to get on the ball and they have a real desire to dictate the game. Well, for me, it's about him dictating the game between the lines and in front of the defensive back line and in positions where he can really affect the game. And I think we've done a better job at that. We have to continue it. When he plays well, the team plays well. So he played well against DC and he's really hungry to continue that.
JJ?
Hey Nick, Talos has now been available in back-to-back training sessions. Can you just provide an update on him? And is there a chance that he sees any minutes in this match against Charlotte?
Talos trained 2 days or one or 2 days pre-DC, which was, gave the team a real lift to have Talos back in there. This week he's gone everyday training, he's trained fully, he's been in the group, he's unrestricted, he's back in the team and the squad. But it's been a sort of day thing. It's something that I'll go back in now and we'll review how he feels. We'll look at how he reacts overnight. And there'll be a conversation tomorrow that whether he's in the squad or whether he isn't, he's really close. So he could be in the squad. Unlikely that he's going to start the game based off how long he's had out. But he's going to be really close for him. He has a huge desire to be in the squad. And, I'm sure if you ask the medical guys, they would say 1 more week. I'm sure if you ask Tellez, he would say, I want to play yesterday. So there's a huge desire from him, which I think is the main thing. He's so keen to get back with the team and produce on the field for the team.
Thanks, Nick.
Back to the Zoom, Chris Campbell.
Hey Coach, Chris Campbell from the outfield. Question on Jovan's fitness level heading into this game. He was with the team, away from the team. He came on sub appearance last match. So just curious as to what your thoughts are on how many minutes he could get on Saturday, and then also your thoughts on Maximo Carrizo and his recent form and whether he has a path to the first team.
Jovan, it wasn't ideal, the visa situation. He went away with the Serbian national team. The problem that Jovan had was he picked up an ankle injury with the Serbian national team. So not only was he going through the visa process and not with the team, he also wasn't able to train. So whether he's in full team training, so I can't say he's behind, but it's not ideal to not have been in team training for the amount of time he wasn't in it. He saw the field on the DC game, and I think it was great to get him back in the team and get him motivated and get him back involved and give him that little bit of feel with the team. He could see as many minutes as, the game demands, really, in the sense of when I make the decision. The problem I have is Alonso Martinez has trained so well, and Alonso Martinez is really hungry to really challenge those guys. Munsef Bakra, Jovan, Mijatovic, he's pushing, right? He can play off the side, but he has a huge desire to get in the number 9 and really push them. So, I'll make that decision in the moment based on the game. I think Alonso and Jovan and Munsef are all 3 different profiles, and I'll make the decision based off what the game demands, really. Carrizo, he trained with us today. I went out there and spoke with him, and he's getting closer and closer and closer with the way that he plays. You can see when he's adding goals and assists to his game in our MLS2, in our Open Cup games, he's showing that he can be the difference. So he has to continue to work, but he's definitely getting closer. It's about retaining the form and really pushing hard now to learn the game and learn the intensity level that is demanded by our first team. But he trained again with us today and showed a real high quality with the team.
Mohammed with the exchange again. So Dean Smith is new to the league. Have you had a talk with him before this game, and do you see his playing style or coaching style change from coming to MLS prior years?
I did speak with Dean. Yeah, I spent some time with him in pre-season in Coachella. I have a mentor that works in Manchester that came and spent 9 weeks with me over pre-season and the start of this season, a guy called Brian Eastick that Dean is actually really close with. So he introduced me to Dean and we spent some time together. Both guys have worked across the Premier League and worked at various levels in England. So Dean is a top coach. He's really high experience Premier League coach, Aston Villa, Norwich, Brentford, but also a really illustrious playing career. So a guy that will add huge value to whatever team he coaches in. I think his style is very similar to the way that he played in England. You can see 4-4-2, very organised team, very difficult to play against, very difficult to beat, but good with the ball, can create goal chances from every moment. A very mature, experienced team can score from set play. We saw that in the game when we played against them. So I have huge respect for him, and a guy that gave me his experience and a lot of his experience when we met. Only short periods in pre-season, but like I say, a guy I have huge respect for.
Final one, Christian.
Hi, Coach. You played Charlotte much earlier in the season. You've talked a lot about progress and the process. Is this a good opportunity for the team to validate where it's made that progress in the process?
I think so. I said this to the team, I think that, it's hard, right? Because rejection is the biggest motivator. And when you don't get results, when you get ties, when you think you should win, and you lose games that you think you might get a point from, it's when you've got the characters we have in our dressing room and the guys that we have, it really forces you to continue to work and to continue to fight and to stay together. That's why I've said every week this team is together, because I see the work rate, I see in the eyes, I see the belief. Now the difference is when you start to win, there's a danger that you can start to think that it's just going to happen and that it's just going to come and that it's fixed now and that actually we're a team that's just going to continue to win. And that's not the case in any football or in, for sure, MLS, because of the competitive nature of the league. You have to keep doing what you've done and keep working and improving and reviewing and everything that we've done when we maybe haven't got the results that we either have deserved or that we feel that we should have got. Now that we're getting the results and the performances, we're not actually there. We scored our second goal in the 93rd and the 91st minute. We for sure should have scored our second goal earlier, which would give us the springboard to continue to attack and gives you different situation and different problems to react from. So we have to continue to work. This game is another test of our ability to repeat performance, to continue to keep the standard where it is and continue to raise the bar. And whether we change the team or go with the same 11, the opportunity to be a better team than we were last week is there. So irrelevant of the opposition that we play, this is another test of our ability to keep improving, retain performance, and keep moving forwards.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Scott Schertz and Stream Punk Sports, by the way. Talk a little bit, the last two matches, you've had shots on goal. You started the last two, you've had shots on goal the last two. Talk a little bit about your growth as a player with the team and everything and what you're expecting for Charlotte on Saturday. Thanks.
Los últimos dos partidos ha sido bastantes tiros al arco. Hablo sobre tu desarrollo y el partido contra Charlotte.
¿Qué siento?
Habla sobre tu desarrollo aquí, cómo te sientes con el grupo y sobre el partido del fin de semana.
No, sí, la verdad me siento muy bien dentro del grupo. La verdad que cuando llegué me trataron de la mejor manera y eso me hace bien a mí porque siento que me ayuda mucho estando en un país diferente que es Estados Unidos y bueno, también me aporto también de donde me toque también, como siempre lo digo, y gracias a mis compañeros que siempre me están apoyando de dentro a afuera, de adentro de la cancha y afuera también.
So I feel really good. I feel a part of the team. I want to thank my teammates for helping me both on and off the field. Coming to a different country, the club was very, very nice for me. How everything kind of turned out and how they played a role in helping me be comfortable here. So very happy to be part of this group.
¿Quieres hablar sobre Charlotte?
Sobre Charlotte. ¿El primer partido o ahora el que viene? Bueno, sí, nos estamos preparando bien para este partido. Sentimos que estos dos partidos que tuvimos nos da la confianza para poder dar otro triunfo que podemos llegar a tener este fin de semana y a dar lo mejor y a tener un buen resultado.
We feel like the last two results have given us the confidence to prepare well for Charlotte, and we feel we're going to get a good result, and we're really looking forward to the match.
Mohammed? Mohammed with the Exchange. So a lot of players have come out and said great things about the MLS. What made you choose MLS and come to New York City FC?
¿Qué te hizo venir a la MLS y venir a New York City?
De un principio yo ya miraba las ligas de la MLS y a este club porque como amigo de Juli Fernández también lo miraba los partidos, tiene el mismo representante y nada, me gustó y tuvimos la charla también con mi esposa, con mi familia y nada, eso me dio la decisión de poder venir acá y hacer un salto en mi carrera.
It's a league that I've been watching over the last couple of years. Juli is my friend, so I'm watching his games. We also have the same agent. So it's a decision that I made with my wife and my friends to come over to the MLS and take that next step in my career. Michael?
Augustine, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio, thanks for the time. You play both sides of the field, you can use both feet. Hannes the same. Can you talk about how the style of play for you is different, whether you're playing on the left or right? Does Nick have you do different things?
Puedes utilizar ambos pies, tú puedes jugar en ambos lados de la cancha, izquierda o derecha. ¿Cómo es diferente tu estilo de juego cuando juegas de la izquierda o la derecha? ¿O qué te dice el técnico cuando juegas en diferentes áreas de la cancha?
Sí, durante mi carrera siempre me desempeñó muchísimo más por izquierda, pero bueno, también lo puedo hacer por derecha y me siento muchísimo más cómodo por izquierda porque puedo enganchar o tener más habilidad al tener mi pierna hábil. Pero bueno, por derecha también me gusta y también donde decía el técnico y donde yo me siento más cómodo lo puedo hacer por cualquiera de los dos lados.
I feel comfortable playing both sides of the field. I predominantly played on the left, given my ability to use my left foot, my dominant foot to cut in. But coach gives me the freedom to be flexible across all areas of the field, and I feel comfortable playing wherever I'm needed. On to the Zoom, Alex.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Hola Agustín, un gusto saludarte, Alex Caminero de Caminero Sport y Fútbol Sin Códigos.
¿Todo bien?
Todo bien, gracias. Sacarte un poquito fuera del mundo de MLS, te llevo al fútbol sudamericano. Ayer jugó Racing por Copa Sudamericana. No sé si lo viste o cómo viste al equipo, a tu ex equipo,
Sí,
y cómo
lo
lo
vi.
ves para esta temporada. Gracias.
No, sí, lo vi. Ayer vi el partido, el 2-1. Nada, yo hice la pretemporada con ellos y sentía también el técnico lo ayudaba mucho porque le hacía tener mucho hambre en sentido de ir a presionar, de ir a jugar y nada, me gustó mucho, ¿cómo te puedo decir? La formación o la táctica que tiene el técnico para cada uno de los jugadores para poder motivarlo y nada, la verdad me gustó muchísimo y re bien, así que nada, espero que le vaya muy bien porque le deseo lo mejor a Racing.
Question was on his former team and thoughts on the game that they played yesterday. I watched the game, they played really well. I was part of the team for preseason, so I know a lot of the players there. The coach plays a heavy role within the success of that team. They compete and they press high, so wishing them all the success to my former club. Oliver?
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. The DC United team you played against last week was really big, really physical. Charlotte isn't as big, but they're still a large team. Are the defenses that you're playing against in MLS, are they larger and more physical than what you're accustomed to in Argentina? And how do you play players who are that big?
Los jugadores de la MLS son más grandes y más físicos. ¿Cómo juegas contra ellos? ¿Y has jugado contra jugadores así de grande antes?
Sí, de jugar con jugadores, o sea, mayores y que tienen más, ¿cómo se puede decir? Como más experiencia en sentido de marcar, sí he jugado y acá es mucho más físico porque lo siento yo como en los partidos y nada, trato de como buscar más al espacio para poder ganarle con velocidad al decir que soy más joven y capaz que puedo tener un poco más de velocidad al igual que ellos, capaz que no.
Yeah, the players here in MLS are a lot physical, more so than I have played against. They're also players with a lot of experience, older players. So what I try to do is I look for the space and try to beat them with my velocity. Know that I'm younger and can take advantage of that over them. JR?
Hey, Artibard, Blue City Radio. Similar question, Augustine. What is the difference in style of football between the Primera División in Argentina and MLS?
¿Cuál es la diferencia entre las dos ligas de estilo en general?
Y la diferencia, bueno, como dije, más para mí es lo físico. Acá siento que hay muchas transiciones y eso te da más cansancio que jugar allá. Pero bueno, con tras partido a tener minutos, siento que capaz que me voy adaptando de a poco y como le dije a un principio, también ayuda de mis compañeros, siento que me voy a adaptar bastante bien.
Like I mentioned before, it's a very physical league. It's a lot more physical, and there are a lot more moments of transition. So getting tired more than in Argentina. But like I said, with playing more and more and getting more minutes as the season goes on, hope to adapt myself. And like I mentioned in my first answer, my teammates have helped me a lot in adapting and getting accustomed to the league and to the team. Anyone else? Okay, great.